Welcome, and thank you for joining us for this presentation on the diverse faces of Arab Americans in the curriculum. My name is Ilham Nasser. I am a senior researcher at the International Institute of Islamic Thought in Virginia, Herndon, Virginia. I'm also a member of the Education Outreach Program of the National Arab American Women Association.
Hi, my name is Jihan Andoni. I am Arab American, originally from Palestine. I'm a Christian from the city of Bethlehem. I am also the president of NAAWA.
Hello, my name is Wahiba Derouaze. I am originally from Algeria, from a city called Constantine, and I'm also a board member of the Arab American Women Association and a former Fairfax County public school teacher in Virginia.
Hi, my name is Sirine Midani. I am as well a member of the Education Outreach Program for NAAWA. I am originally from Damascus, Syria.
4 years ago, a group of Arab American women decided to establish the National Arab American Women Association, NAAWA, to be the platform and the voice of all Arab American women. We experience the misconception about who we are and felt the need to face it through engaging and reaching out. Driven by this vision, 2 years ago, we established the Educational Outreach Program to start the dialogue about this misconception of Arab American in textbook and curriculum in general. We met with personnel from the public school system and shared with them our findings. We volunteered in the school's activities. We provided training and workshops and supporting materials to schools and teachers in general.
Today, we're going to discuss who are the Arab Americans so that you understand the impact on that for the education system. Arab Americans form about 5% of the population of the United States. They've been settling here since 1880, coming from different countries of the Middle East and North Africa. They were originally Christians, the first population that came here, originally from Syria and Lebanon. Later, the immigrants came from Iraq and Egypt. Most Arab Americans have higher education diplomas or degrees, and they enroll their children in the schools, and its education is of a highly importance subject to them. That is why it's very important for us to know who are the Arab American students in the classroom.
Thank you, Sirine. Actually, the Middle East physically seems to be far away, but in reality, it's closer than when we think. The first bill in the Senate was about the Middle East, and among the first few bills in the House were related to issues related to the Middle East. That's why we think, for the sake of all our children who are going to be the future politicians and decision makers, to understand the history and the complexity of that region. And here at NAAWA, we'd like to think of ourselves or consider us one of these resources that can help in building that knowledge. Arab American, unfortunately or officially, considered white despite from their being from Asia and Africa. And this dispute put us in the marginalized region because we are minorities, but we cannot actually assume that we are minorities. And I think it's clear for everybody, like after September 11 and the war on terror, Arab American experienced escalation in bias and aggression. And there are many stories from our children, from ourselves, we experienced that, and what happened after September 11. So for all these reasons, I think in general, and put it in simple way, It's complex, it might be sensitive, but I think it's very important to educate, as I said, all our kids about the Middle East.
Like we said before, Arab Americans has contributed for more than a century to the fabric of the American culture. More than 3.5 million Americans can trace their roots to an Arab country. They include doctors, teachers, bankers, scientists, and entrepreneurs who have made important contributions to the growth of the United States. Arabs have been in this country since the beginning of the 19th century and as far as 1854. And yet, Arab American students in their classrooms may want to keep their identities unknown out of fear of prejudice, bias, or even retaliation. Why? Because since 9/11, Arabs and Muslims have been dealing with stereotype and biases. It has gone from bad to worse. As war on terror, Muslim ban, etc. has been implemented. The Arab community in the US have been affected greatly and still is being affected. Our children are constantly exposed to negative images and stereotypes in films, media, cartoons, and comic books. As teachers and educators, our interest in the Arab world should become part of the culturally responsive agenda. Because teachers are agents of change, they need to counter the dominant biases narrative on Arabs and Muslims. Arab students need to feel comfortable and safe in the classroom. Teachers ought to empower them by providing them with a strong sense of belonging to their school and classrooms, and by providing all students with multiple perspectives on the Arab world, its history, and current events.
It's clear from the research we have conducted that there are biases, prejudices, but also the fear of being part of the fabric of the classroom, because as my colleagues mentioned, that they feel, students may feel that they're not part of this collective American identity. And one of the places where we could find examples of bias and prejudices are the textbooks. And that's what we talked about earlier, saying that we've been following the textbooks and trying to identify areas where we could improve the language, the messages of the textbooks to help students of Arab origin, but also all the students, all of our American students in the classroom, or even beyond the classroom, to understand the complexities of the Middle East. So here I would like to give a few examples of biases, and we don't have a lot of time to give more examples, but there are different groups who worked on this, are still working on documenting where the biases are in the textbooks, in the social studies textbooks. The first example I would like to give here is the announcement or the brief and very brief sentence and statement in one of the Hafton Mifflin world history textbooks used in Virginia and other states regarding the attack on the United States or the 9/11 attacks. On the morning, the language in the textbook goes as follows. On the morning of September 11th, 2001, 19 Arab terrorists, and I highlight and underline Arab terrorists, hijacked 4 airlines heading from East Coast airports to California. The message is very subtle and could be interpreted or misinterpreted as Arabs are terrorists, or the terrorists there and in other instances are Arabs. One way to do that, to fix that and to reword it is by slightly modifying such a statement. And we as educators have the tools to make sure that we could send messages that are beyond what the textbook is telling us, because we could, explain and elaborate And we could reword this statement to say something like, on the morning of September 11, 2001, 19 members of a terrorist group named or called Al-Qaeda hijacked 4 airplanes heading from East Coast airports to California. Here we are, here we are being more accurate because we are identifying this group that doesn't necessarily represent all Arabs. Actually, it represents a very, very small portion of the Arab population in all the Arab countries. But we're also saying not all Arabs here are terrorists, but naming the specific group that was in charge of these drastic and tragic events of 9/11. Another example that I would like to give from the Palestinian-Israeli conflict, I am, as a Palestinian, have been looking at these issues of how Palestine and Israel are represented in textbooks, especially in the social studies, and you could understand that this is one of those conflicts that many people, many educators avoid talking about. But here is a statement regarding building the security barrier. It's called the wall, and a lot of people know it as the wall, the security wall. In the same textbook, the statement goes, in 2002, Israel began building a security barrier to prevent Palestinian suicide bombers. And here I would like to highlight Palestinian suicide bombers from entering Israel. If we're looking at this, the assumption here that is also very subtle makes the reader think that these Palestinians are suicide bombers, and that's not the case. To rephrase this statement, teachers can reword it in a way that is more clear, more accurate, and also presents the multiple viewpoints on these issues or this specific issue. For example, in 2002, Israel began building a security barrier, claiming that it built it to prevent Palestinian suicide bombers from entering Israel, and that's the version, official version of the Israeli government, while others who are Palestinian or international, the United Nations and others, saw this as a land grab. Palestinians reacted strongly by protesting the building of the disputed wall. And in that text, in this textbook, there's a picture of people who sound, not necessarily sound, but seem very angry, protesting the building of the wall. And there, the statement says there that they were attacking the Israeli military, and that was not the case. People have the right to, for protest. So these are two examples where we could see how we could, as educators, take the responsibility and improve the text in terms of the representation of all viewpoints in social studies.
So, as you all know, not all Muslims are Arabs, and not all Arabs are Muslims. Most Arabs are Muslim. However, there are millions of Arab Christians who live in the United States. There are also thousands of Arab Jews who share in the Arabic culture, history, and tradition of the region. Some of the students' name may be Arabic, but the student may not be. It is common also that non-Arab Muslims take Arabic names. It is also common of Arab Christian to take Christian names. Arab American students come from different backgrounds, race, ethnicities, religion, social class, and they have different political worldviews or no political views at all. In other words, assuming a student's background on the basis of name or looks does not work. Then how do we get to know your students and their background? You may ask them privately about their country of origin if necessary. You can provide supplementary material that is one-sided or misleading regarding the student's country, religion, and traditions. You can acknowledge and learn about the various major holidays, foods, and tradition in the Arab world by creating events and assignment for students to share information on their country of origin. Since the month of April has been dedicated as Arab American Heritage Month, plan ways to highlight the community achievement, food, tradition, and to celebrate the region diverse culture, or at least acknowledge it. But please avoid singling out Arab students on topics related to the Arab world. Lots of them feel uncomfortable talking about them in front of the classroom, and many just do not know and therefore have no opinion. Making the classroom a welcoming and safe environment for all students to express themselves is very important.
What can NAAWA do for you? That is a question that you might have in mind about how we can help you, in the education system. NAAWA can provide materials. We can come and engage with the classroom by giving presentation about the Middle East. For example, we did a presentation for Syria, and the students were very apt to ask a lot of questions and learn more about the history of Syria and the Middle East. We can as well do informal visit and assist the teachers if they need any assistance regarding the Middle East. As well, NAAWA can mobilize the community to assist schools or teachers regarding projects about the Middle East. NAAWA as well has some resources on their website, and it is under NAAWA.org/education program. You can find some supplemental materials that can assist you to use in the classroom with your students.
We have provided you with a very brief overview of the case for the Middle East and the students, the Arab American students, their history, their culture, their importance for the fabric of the society, but also the way they're portrayed in the curriculum and textbooks and so forth. We also described to you the work that NAAWA does in order to promote this agenda and to pay attention more to the Arab American students and their needs. Now we will move into the question and answer session, and I would like to invite you to join us at the specific room designated for this topic and for this presentation. Thank you so much for attending this presentation, and thank you for being here. I do encourage you, if you cannot go to the Q&A, to actually click on the link and explore NAAWA's website and all the wonderful resources we have there. And if you need to reach us, our email is there as well, and you can reach us, and we'll be very happy, as all of my wonderful colleagues already mentioned, we'll be very happy to assist you. Thank you so much, and have a good afternoon.